Hi everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Twiddle Podcast. We are sat in the rifle range here at Eaton Hall Shooting Ground. Syd, obviously, has joined me, but also joining us is Peter Jones from the Hunting and Shooting Academy. Thanks for joining us, Pete.
Good to see you guys. Nice to be here.
Our pleasure. Thanks for coming. And actually, I didn't really introduce you there, mate. Syd, obviously, everyone's supposed to know who Syd is. Syd Phillimore, owner of Eaton Hall. If you don't know, then get to know. You should know by now. So yeah, we're down at Eaton Hall at the rifle range because there's a few exciting things to announce in collaboration with what we're doing here and with yourselves, Peter, at the Hunting and Shooting Academy.
Yeah, well, we're absolutely delighted. We're going to be down here, and of course it's to acknowledge that you guys are going to be the first approved assessment centre for PDS1, APC, that's the air gun proficiency as well, but the PDS1 is what we're really talking about down here now. And great to have you guys on board.
No, it's amazing for us to offer, especially to the membership here at the rifle range, you know, to be able to offer that and a bit of official training and doesn't go amiss by anyone.
Yeah.
I think it's good.
You know, I think training is an important thing, isn't it? Increasingly now, we're all getting judged more and more about our credibility. You know, the government's looking at us, how are we doing things?
Yeah.
And we've got to justify ourselves, and we need proper governance.
I think you're right there. I think, you know, you're under scrutiny, the sport's under scrutiny. So if we can do everything we can and be proactive, then, you know, we've got to be ahead of the game. So if they've got a problem, we've already dealt with the problem. You know, if you've got a course, you've done a course. And in all fairness, we were just talking about this before we came on. I've shot a lot of stuff in my life. And I did the level 1. And I actually learned quite a lot. Yeah. So you think you know a lot, but there's a lot to learn, you know. And all right, some of the stuff you might not ever come into contact with some of the diseases and so on, but it still highlights the fact that they're there, you know, and to have that knowledge, you know, knowledge is power, you know. At the end of the day, if somebody speaks to you, you can educate people, you can talk to them about other stuff. Yeah. It does help, and I think it's responsible, you know, as far as I'm concerned. You go out and doing a course, it means you're taking it serious. So therefore, you know. Yeah.
I'm not being funny. You and I were just in Africa last week, and to have knowledge on your side in those experiences is only beneficial.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like something that you've learned and spent time learning, it's good to know. Yeah. Just before we get into it, just take us back then. How did you get going with the Hunting and Shooting Academy? Where did it all start for you, Pete?
It grew up pretty sort of organically, I suppose, Sam. So it started off as, you know, as a deer stalking provider. I was taking people out shooting, and I found that I was increasingly giving them more and more information before we actually went out and tried for a deer. So I'd have to talk to them, you know, sit down in the car and say, yeah, you've got to place your shot here, or if it's a little bit extended range, you've got to aim high, you need holdover. This is what the answer, and I was showing them pictures of what different deer species look like and that sort of thing. And it really, you know, I recognised that there was a need for training, and people liked it because it's quite empowering. Because once they've got that bit of training, they feel a bit more confident, and they can go out and do what they're expected to do without feeling like they've made an idiot of themselves. Yeah. And so that gradually got consolidated into the PDS1, the Proficient Deer Stalking Certificate Level 1. And then off the back of that, we found that was so popular in the field that we thought we've got to scale this and push this out around the UK. But not just as, you know, any old qualification. We wanted proper kind of governance. We brought third-party oversight. And so we got the whole thing accredited by LANTRA, and LANTRA off-qual regulated, so it was a serious course there, and put the whole thing online with practical assessments in the field, and that's allowed us to scale that now all around the UK.
Amazing. How long have you been doing this?
God, it's you know, there's a really nice little quote I remember by I think it was Steve Jobs or something, who said something like, most overnight successes take a long time in the making. And in truth, there's something to be said there, because everyone's seen this rise of the PDS1, and they think, my God, where's that come from? But in actual fact, this has been a journey over probably about the last decade.
Yeah, I've seen you at the shows for years and pushing on. But so just explain about LANTRA then. So what's LANTRA? Is that like the governing body that oversees the whole of Europe? Is it just the UK or? Yeah, so
LANTRA. So who are LANTRA? Well, they're the biggest land-based awarding body in the UK. So for anyone, and any landowner will know them. So if you're a farmer and you want to go and get a some training for a chainsaw or to drive an ATV or whatever it is, anything to do with forestry and the outdoors, they are the guys to go to because they're Ofqual regulated.
Okay.
And what they do is they have customised providers who provide courses in certain industries, and that's essentially what we do. So they act as a third-party oversight and governance over the PDS1, and they audit us, and they check everything that we do is credible and meets certain standards, which are going to be suitable for that type of...
Yeah.
So everybody's heard of like a DS1, DS2, PDS1, PDS2. Is that a like-for-like qualification?
Nice to have some options at last, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, in truth, and this is what we were trying to get across, because so many people went, DSC1, DSC2, that's what you've got to do. But there was no choice. The consumer had absolutely no choice. Now, what does that mean, really, in an industry? It means usually, if there's no choice, standards drop, don't they? Gradually, because there's no competition, is there? And so what we've done is we've just introduced a little bit of competition into the market. We've got a PDS1, PDS2, which is, if you think of equivalence, DSC1 is equivalent to PDS1, DSC2 with PDS2.
And they're recognised exactly the same?
Exactly the same.
So anybody that requires a DS1, the PDS1 is exactly the same?
Absolutely right. So
it's recognised anywhere in the UK?
If you check out government websites, if you go to Natural England, you go to Nature Scott, there in black and white on the government websites is DSC1 or PDS1.
Okay.
They are recognised as equivalence level 1 and level 2. In Natural England, the level 2 is seen as an advanced level qualification for those who are interested in night shooting as well. But yeah, totally equivalent, and it just brings choice into the market. And I think probably, what's been really interesting for us is because we delivered it on an online format, or the theory, and the assessment. That's what's different. The assessment and the training is taught online, and that allows that scalability. But what works particularly well with the PDS1 and PDS2 is the fact that we've got effectively approved verifiers all around the UK for the practical elements. So we've got like 150 to 200 in every region of the UK. So what that allows someone to do, once they've done the theory element online, is they can literally pick up the phone to someone in their area and say, when are you free? And with a fair wind, they might say, yeah, well, I'm free tomorrow night or Wednesday night, or whatever it is. You can get out, see them in your area, and get that qualification done.
Yeah, because I couldn't believe how easy it was. I remember doing my PDS1 over a couple of days during me sitting in the office, and every time I had 45 minutes, you just stop and start. So you log in, and you literally just do a bit. Phone rings, press pause, you wander off on the phone, you do what you want to do, you watch Coronation Street, you can pick it back up again when you get 5 minutes and carry on
why go and sit in a classroom for 3 days
100%.
and travel halfway across the country?
Yeah, who has that time?
You've got travel costs, you've got B&B costs potentially, haven't you? You've got time away from the office or the family.
Honestly.
When you've hit the nail on the head, Sid. What you can do is just do it in the evenings.
I can't believe I hadn't done it sooner. It was so easy and so convenient to do. Whereas everything else, going on a course, I booked my DS level 1 twice and cancelled because things happened at work and I couldn't get away. So if I could have done it online, I'd have done it years ago. I just didn't realise.
Yeah.
I sat there with my iPad in my office and did it. Going on holiday, you're bored sitting on a sunbed, just sit there with your iPad, as long as you've got some Wi-Fi, and you can do it over 2 days. It's mega. It's
zero barrier to entry.
And this is really important, isn't it? Because we've got to get training out there.
But there's a lot of training courses now. Even we host training courses here, and some of them 2, 3, 4 days long. People are they're probably a bit low on attendance because who's got that time to? Well, I certainly haven't.
It's kids, dogs.
No chance we do that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's what's so unique about what you're offering is anyone can do it.
Yeah, entirely right. I'm glad you guys have recognised that because it's a message that we keep trying to get out there. But the other thing I just really want to point out is, a lot of people see training and they kind of groan. They think, oh, if I've got to do a course just to teach me what I already know. As though kind of, experience is somehow an opposing force to training. And it's not. They can complement one another. And time again, we get people coming to us and saying, yeah, but there's no substitute for experience. you're right. We're not disputing that. But it doesn't have to be either or. It's not a question of, I've got loads of experience, I never need any training. I mean, I was just talking to you, Sid, and I still get out in the field a couple of times a week. You know, and I've been doing that for 20 years. I've got a lot of experience, as have you guys.
Yeah.
But whenever I do one of these courses on the academy, I learn something.
Yeah.
Well, like I said to you earlier, I felt like I had learned something. You know, why would I ever know about this disease, that disease, etc.? But actually, I didn't know they were there to, but now I do. So
you were saying what temperatures to hang the deer at, and you didn't know that.
No, I've always just, you shoot them, you get them into the fridge as soon as you can. But what is the actual?
Yeah, the perfect temperature.
Yeah,
silly things.
You just always done what you've done, and it's always worked, so you don't change. But actually, knowing what temperature you can actually, get away with an extra 2 degrees on your fridge because you didn't realise.
Yeah.
Or does it need to be hung in the fridge that night because actually the temperature's already cold enough outside. You can do it in the morning. There's lots of things you pick up and you actually think, actually, I've probably making this a little bit difficult for myself for the last.
And you know what? And I think as well, is it too much for like members of the public to expect that before you have someone wandering around the countryside with a centerfire rifle, that they've done a bit of training? It's not a big ask, is it?
No.
And I think most people out there, most members of the public would automatically assume before you were going to be allowed to do something like that, you would have had some training.
Yeah.
And we say that an awful lot with the rifle range here and the playground. We have so many people turn up with a gun or have got a certificate that have never fired a gun before. And they come and they go, right, I've just got my certificate, I want to book some lessons, which is a responsible thing to do. Or can I do a course? But how many people are out there who just get given a certificate without any training?
Yeah.
And so to do a course or to be asked to do a course, I think is more than reasonable to make sure
Absolutely,
you are safe, responsible, you know what you're doing. Obviously the deer and so on go into the food chain. So you've got to have some responsibility to...
And I think probably the reason why a lot of people haven't is because they have put it off because it hasn't been accessible. And that's circling back round to what we're saying.
100%.
So now you've got a situation through the academy where you've got training that is accessible and you can do it. And it's also got proper governance. This isn't just a certificate generated by Joe Bloggs. This is proper Lantra accredited training.
Yeah.
So you've got a good standardisation across the industry and you know what you're getting is actually worth the paper that it's written on.
And the other thing I like about your courses and what we did with our inductions with the rifle range is they're online. So if you're doing something in a classroom, one instructor may teach something different to another instructor, may miss that bit because he's more focused on this bit.
Yeah.
Well, with the way we've done our little induction and the way you do your stuff, everybody has the exact same training.
They see the same information every time.
In the same way.
Yeah.
And it's delivered in the same way.
100%.
That's how you get it standardised.
That's
right. Continuity of delivery, 100% every single time. Every student gets the same thing.
I didn't learn that. The instructor never told us that. Well, it's in the video. It's super easy. And if you're not, also when you're on a course and you miss a bit, you can't go back to them and say, can you just rewind 10 minutes and just do that all again? Whereas on yours, you just go, well, so what was that? What bug was that can be? You just rewind, you listen, and you just watch it until you're happy.
Let me get something else in which I think is going to be quite interesting to some of the guys that are thinking about taking it, is you've got permanent access to it. And why is that important? Because these days everyone talks about continuous development, don't they? And it's very easy to have done a DSC or a qualification 10 years ago and just rely on that knowledge for the rest of your life without taking any responsibility for developing your knowledge and understanding that actually changes start happening, changes in legislation, in best practice. So what we do on the Academy, which is absolute, I have to say, is genius, is the fact that...
don't say
if I dare say.
Okay.
Well, you be the judge of it, because what we can do effectively is if there is a change in legislation or best practice, what we do is we go on, change that module or class, and then we email every candidate in the click of a button
version.
The updated version.
Yeah, nice.
And you will get an email saying, legislation has changed in Scotland, redo, module
Page
10.
61. Yeah.
It's down.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And then, so you can easily then just think, well, I'm a little bit out of date maybe on my legislation, or what is that bullet weight that I need in Scotland?
Yeah.
Well,
Lead,
you just
whatever.
go back to the course, redo that module,
Yeah.
and you're up to date. Thereby, you're kind of taking responsibility, I suppose, for your ongoing development, which is the buzzword, isn't it? That's
And if you were emailed a new module that's 8 minutes long, why wouldn't you watch it?
yeah.
You would just go, yeah, okay. You would just, you're right, you've just made it easy. And that's what we try to do here is, how do you get different examiners delivering the same thing where safety is so key on our rifle range? So we thought the easiest way to get the key points in is to do a video.
Yeah.
And then everybody has got every single bit of that information.
Yeah.
We're getting shown the same thing.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we send them the video once they're on, so they can watch it at any point they want. They can, they can go back home and watch it at their own leisure if they're not sure and they didn't want to, put their hand up in front of us and ask a question.
Yeah.
So I think it really works, the online stuff.
Mm.
And it's so accessible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you do other courses as well. You do.
Yep.
You don't
Yeah.
just
It's
do
we've got
one.
about 20 odd courses, I think, on the academy now. So I mean, a big change has been Natural England CL55, the night licence.
Yeah.
So we got the night shooting course on there, which has proven really popular over the last few weeks. We've got advanced deer management. We've got the deer management certificate level 3 for those who really want to take up deer stalking as a vocation. That's a really good one. UK DTR do a really nice course on there. There's heaps of courses. So and what you can do with these is effectively you just bolt on what you need.
Yeah.
So if you think, I really want to understand a little bit more about night shooting, or if I really want to understand a bit more about ecology, you bolt on a course that complements what you need to know.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
simple.
It is. And
It's
what's so nice is with the range here, we've got a lot of new people that have never shot rifles before. So with people joining us to be a Home Office approved club, then they're getting the licence, then they're going on the range, then they want to advance into going into a bit of stalking. So for those of you that are members at the range here watching, we highly, highly advise you. And we have got a bit of a deal, haven't we?
Yeah.
To offer to our members, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, obviously, from a practical point of view, what we want to offer to our members is any member of our rifle range, we're going to become, I think, today, a practical centre. You get it for free. It's our time. You pay to be a member here. As far as I'm concerned, if you're a member, you do the course online. You've got to do your practical bit. You come down here, and there's no cost to any member.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're chuffed to bits to be working with you. You're going to be the first approved centre in the whole of the UK, and that's brilliant. And I think that sort of reflects the facilities that you've got down here, which are absolutely spot on for what we want to do. As you say, Sid, it's do your theory online, come down here, shoot from a couple of different positions on 100 yards, and that's enough to secure the practical element of your level 1.
Yeah.
And we are going to be offering it to non-members as well.
Yeah, to the public.
Obviously, a slightly different deal. But certainly for members, as far as I'm concerned, it's something we have to give them for free.
Yeah.
I think it's great that we can do that.
Included in the membership, yeah. For sure.
And then so anything we can do training wise, I think we've got to be proactive.
Yeah.
Going forward over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, I think we're going to be under a lot of scrutiny.
Do you know? I think this is another way of looking at it. In truth, is if we don't regulate as an industry, if we don't increase the amount of training we get as an industry, it gets forced on you.
100%.
And that's the other thing that I think people, they like the status quo, they like the idea that maybe they don't need training. But government, if you haven't got training in an industry, especially one where you're using firearms, if governance and proper courses and training is not in place already, it will get forced on us as an industry. And that becomes a problem for everyone.
And I think rightly or wrongly, what I'm about to say might be a bit taboo, but we're building courses that are built by people that understand the industry, know the industry. So they're actual proper courses to a proper level that mean something. If we don't do all this training and it gets forced on us, it's going to be forced on us by people that have no idea about the practical side of things. It's going to be, the computer says you've got to do this. Which is the most ridiculous thing ever, because we'll end up getting forced into doing courses that are not practical.
I think you're right. And I mean, take Scotland, for instance. So, I mean, a lot of your listeners may not be aware that mandatory qualifications are going to become law in Scotland. So you are going to need to do a qualification in Scotland. That's what that's what the Scottish Government have said you will have to do. They are forcing that on the shooting industry. Now, as things stand, because PDS1 and DSC1 were already in existence, Nature Scott adopted those qualifications as the industry standard. Now, take a situation where there is no PDS1 or DSC1. Well, exactly as you say, Sid, the government would have come up with their own course and then imposed that on us as shooters.
Yeah.
And then we really would have something to complain about, wouldn't we?
Because there is so many courses out there that don't make sense. Yeah, like when, I can't think of one in particular now, but without upsetting people. But, there's stuff out there that you think, who came up with this course? Like, this is ridiculous, Certain courses out there that have to be shot. We're talking about the night course. It has to be shot at night.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a 300-metre tunnel.
I know.
I can turn the lights on.
It's pitch black.
But we
I
can't
know.
do the course until after
No, sunset, yeah.
which is, that's because they came up with that course. If somebody was actually thinking about it and knew about all the options available,
Yeah.
it would just be a slight change in the word at night or in the dark. So little things like that can make life hard
Yeah.
when it doesn't need to be. So if we can get ahead of the curve and bring these courses out and develop the courses and be well ahead of the game, like you say, they're going to adopt what we're already doing.
Why wouldn't you? Because
For
it's
shooters,
because
by
it's fit,
shooters.
It's fit for purpose, isn't
For
it?
shooters, by shooters, and that's
Exactly.
the difference.
Same as Eaton Hall, built by shooters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everything we built here is to the standard that what we want. We wanted a rifle range.
Yeah.
I built this to my standard, to be safe, to be comfortable, to be
Ha-
warm.
haven't
to
done
be,
things by halves, have you?
No, but that's it. And at the end of the day, I'm comfortable. I'm putting my name to this, or Sammy's. That we are comfortable, that we're delivering a safe shooting environment for rifle shooters.
Yeah.
Extraction and so on. All right, we could have gone a bit more overboard on this. We could have gone underboard on that. But we found a comfortable thing where we're happy, a comfortable standard, where it's practical. There's nothing not practical about what we've done. We've not wasted anything. We're not.
No, but it's a place where we as shooters would want to come.
Exactly.
And it's a course that shooters would want to.
Yeah.
I can't
Take
believe
and-
how easy, and I'm not saying the course was easy, but how easy it was to do the
To
course.
actually do it, yeah. Partake in it, yeah.
It literally was like I sat there for the first however long, just laughing that I hadn't done it.
Yeah.
And I've been worried about doing this
Yeah.
course for the last however many years, and you're trying to.
I see a lot of people in your shoes, and I think a lot of them put it off and put it off and put it off. And I feel like saying to them, it's the stalking show and the shooting show. I say, just bite the bullet and just do it. And then you'll stop worrying about
A prime
it.
example, a couple of months ago, we had a health and safety first aid refresher, and Sid was supposed to join us on that course.
Yeah.
And the morning of the course, he was in the staffage suite in the clubhouse. He was like, hey, I'm not joining that. I've got meetings after meetings.
Yeah,
But
8
that-
hours of.
And we were 8 hours, Dan, me, Jordan, Amy,
Yeah.
loads of us sat in there, 8 hours,
Yeah.
doing a first aid course, which
If
was
I could-
great, and we know lots more about first aid, but it's time out of your day. If it was online and
I could
done
have
the
just
way
done,
that...
done half an hour here, an hour there.
Yeah.
Just pick it up when it suits me.
Yeah.
I would have had no problems doing the course.
Yeah.
All right, it might have took me 2 or 3 weeks to do it
Yeah.
and fit it in. But I wanted to do it.
It wouldn't be
was all
100
about-
quid,
it
that.
was all
I had
about
a bet
snake
on it.
bites and about stuff that's of quite an advanced course.
Yeah.
And obviously that's stuff that I come into contact with.
Right, good job I did it from last week.
Yeah. Just in case.
Nearly got
actually-
snake bitten.
Yeah, we bumped into a couple of black mambas last week.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I don't think any first aid would have helped us there, though.
No, especially where we were.
Same with the buff, by all accounts.
Yeah, yeah, the buff, yeah.
Yeah,
But no, so I just think the way you've done it and the way you come across on your videos and the courses is really, really very, very clear.
yeah,
That was one thing that you do deliver very well. Is it's extremely clear the way you speak. It's in very simple terms, and it is nothing. Honestly, I wouldn't be daunted about doing it. The fact you can pick it up and put it down weeks apart
yeah,
is super easy.
for sure.
Yeah.
No, brilliant.
So-
I'm glad. No, it's brilliant to be working with you
No,
guys.
no.
And
No,
thanks for
love
giving
it.
the opportunity to come down and talk to you about it.
Great for us to offer it to our members and everyone. And if you're interested, then by the time this episode goes out, guys, if you head over to eaton-hall.com, we will have a page on there explaining all about it. And then you're taking the bookings on board. And like I say, members, practical side for you guys, it's on us.
I think we're doing a code, aren't we, for an Eaton Hall
We're
code?
going to do a
Use
bit of
the
a
website.
code.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
anybody that uses our code on the website there'll be some little some upside to you to doing it here, the practical side of things.
Yeah.
So
yeah, really cool. Can't wait to offer it. Thanks for jumping on board with us.
Guys.
And anyone thinking about taking the rifle shooting to the next level, going stalking, whatever you want to do, 100% get it done. Because I know I would want that in the back of my head when I'm walking into a field, stalking deer for sure.
100%.
Who wouldn't? 4 shooters by shooters. We like that, don't we, Pete?
I like that one. we're going to grab that one.
Perfect. Thanks for joining us, mate.
Pleasure.
And,
Good to see you, gents.
Yeah. Stay tuned for more content with Pete and everything that's going on down at the rifle range. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks, Syd, for joining us. And we'll see you on the next one.